Every year, hundreds of fishing vessels leave port and head into the icy waters of the North Atlantic, where vast schools of cod have sustained human life for centuries. But behind every ton of cod brought ashore are workdays that begin before dawn, long shifts battling wind and waves, and a life at sea where weekends simply do not exist. So, what makes thousands of fishermen willing to risk their safety to pursue this remarkable fish across one of the world's harshest oceans? This is not just the story of commercial fishing. It is the real life of a cod fishing vessel in the open waters of the North Atlantic. Go discover cod fishing life on a fishing boat in the North Atlantic. Fishing documentary. For most people, a fishing boat is simply a way to reach the sea. But for the crew aboard these vessels, it becomes their entire world for weeks, sometimes even months at a time. Every day begins and ends on just a few hundred square meters of steel, surrounded by an endless ocean. They wake up in tiny cabins with barely enough room for a bed. They share meals in a cramped galley before quickly returning to the deck. On the bridge, the captain constantly monitors nautical charts, radar, and weather conditions to make every critical decision. Each crew member has a different role, yet they all operate like parts of the same machine. Once the vessel leaves port, there is no longer any separation between work and home. The boat serves as their home, their workplace, and the only place to rest after long hours of labor in rough seas. Life follows the same familiar rhythm: work, eat, rest, and then return to work again. Throughout the voyage, the ocean is not only where they earn a living, it also becomes the only companion surrounding the vessel in every direction. If cod were to disappear from the North Atlantic one day, it would not simply mean the loss of a single species. It could transform entire coastal communities that have existed for hundreds of years. Atlantic cod are bottom-dwelling fish that can grow over 6 feet long, weigh more than 200 pounds, and live for more than 20 years. They migrate seasonally between spawning grounds and feeding areas, and a single female can produce millions of eggs in one spawning season. This extraordinary reproductive capacity once made cod one of the world's most abundant seafood resources. Thanks to this valuable resource, Iceland, Norway, the Faroe Islands, and Newfoundland built entire cultures around the sea. In many coastal towns, fishing is more than a livelihood. It is a tradition passed down from one generation to the next. For these communities, cod is far more than food or a commercial product. It is the foundation of the local economy, a part of their history, and the reason fishing vessels continue to sail into the icy waters of the North Atlantic year after year. Every cod fishing expedition begins with one question. Where is the school of fish? Across the millions of acres that make up the North Atlantic, the ocean's surface reveals almost no clues. Before the crew lie nothing but waves, wind, and freezing mist. No one knows whether thousands of cod are swimming below or if there is only empty water. To find the answer, the captain relies on every tool aboard the vessel. Sonar continuously scans the seafloor GPS, maintains precise positioning, and radar tracks both the weather and nearby vessels. At the same time, the crew studies ocean currents, water temperature, seabed terrain, and the seasonal migration patterns of cod. But in the end, the final decision still depends on the captain's experience. A miscalculation of just a few miles can cost the vessel hours of searching without catching a single fish. The moment a signal appears on the screen, the atmosphere aboard the vessel changes instantly. Massive fishing nets are lowered into the sea as hundreds of meters of steel cable slowly unwind from the deck beneath the roar of the hydraulic winches. The vessel maintains a steady speed, towing the net through the exact depth where the school is moving. This is the moment when hours of searching are all riding on a single haul. Then the winch begins pulling the net back. The steel cable tightens as meter after meter of net slowly rises from the water. No one knows whether it holds a full catch or almost nothing at all. When the codon finally opens, thousands of silver-white cod may come pouring across the deck with the thunderous rush of seawater. But there are also times when all the crew finds are just a handful of fish. In the North Atlantic, the ocean always decides who returns with a full hold. Yet catching the fish is only half the job. The moment the catch reaches the deck, the entire vessel transforms into a floating processing line. The crew quickly sorts, washes, beheads, and guts the fish before transferring them into the freezing system. Every step must be completed as quickly as possible to preserve freshness and maximize commercial value. Throughout weeks at sea in the North Atlantic, the vessel almost never sleeps. Work shifts rotate continuously, and day and night are distinguished only by the light beyond the horizon. As soon as the vessel reaches port, containers of cod are loaded directly onto refrigerated trucks and transported to processing plants. There, an entirely different operation begins. Every batch of fish is first weighed and inspected for quality. Workers evaluate the size, freshness, flesh color, and storage temperature before allowing the fish to enter the production line. Next, the fish travel along automated stainless steel conveyor belts. They are washed several times with cold water to remove blood slime and any remaining impurities from the surface. Once cleaned, the fish move through the filleting system. Razor-sharp blades separate the flesh from the skeleton in just a few seconds. Workers then inspect every fillet by both sight and touch to remove any remaining pin bones. In many modern processing plants, cameras and scanning systems are also used to detect defects that are difficult for the human eye to see. After freezing, the products are accurately weighed, vacuum-packed, or packaged in various formats, labeled for full traceability, and transferred into massive cold storage facilities before distribution. Today, these products appear on supermarket shelves in restaurants and ultimately on the dinner tables of millions of families. Behind every fillet is a long journey that begins in the ocean, continues aboard a fishing vessel, and is completed in a modern processing facility operating almost around the clock. Cod is famous not only for its large-scale fisheries, but also for its exceptional nutritional value. Its white, firm flesh is naturally low in fat, yet rich in protein omega-3, fatty acids, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and selenium, making it a popular choice for healthy diets. Its delicate sweetness and tender texture have helped cod win over diners around the world. That is why this remarkable fish not only supports coastal communities, but has also become one of the world's most popular seafood choices. Cod is more than just a source of food. It is the reason these vessels set sail and the foundation of a way of life that has endured for generations across the North Atlantic. Behind every meal lies the resilience of the men and women who face the sea day and night to bring this valuable resource to the world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed documentaries exploring unique ways of life and extraordinary professions, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next journey. A refrigerated truck's horn blares across the harbor as hundreds of foam boxes are rushed away as if evacuating a hidden treasure. Inside lies uni, the liquid gold worth nearly $1 million, so delicate that every passing second puts it at risk. The countdown has already begun. The shipment has less than 6 hours to reach its buyers. Arrive just 30 minutes late, and half its value may disappear. Delay it any longer, and the entire cargo becomes worthless. The answer lies in a supply chain stretched as tight as steel wire, where every minute of delay, every degree outside the ideal temperature, and every unexpected jolt can turn priceless treasure into worthless waste. If cod fishing is a race to locate schools of fish in the vast ocean, then with sea urchins, the real challenge begins only after they leave the water. Because just a few hours of delay can erase most of the value from a $1 million shipment. Resting quietly on the ocean floor is a spiny safe that few would suspect holds the ingredients for $1 million business. That creature is the sea urchin, or more specifically, its prized uni. Beneath its black armor of sharp spines lies no meat at all but soft golden orange lobes of roe with a delicate balance of sweetness and salinity that sushi chefs compete every day to secure in the freshest and most beautiful condition possible. But this treasure begins destroying itself the moment it leaves the sea. Uni is incredibly fragile, melts easily, and retains its perfect flavor for less than 24 hours after harvest. That is why its supply chain resembles a bomb disposal mission where speed and precision determine survival. A single tray of grade A uni can sell for $80 to $150 depending on its harvesting region, color, and true freshness. A large shipment may contain between 6,000 hours and 10,000 trays, turning a refrigerated cargo hold into a $1 million vault in a single trip. But the higher the value, the more expensive every mistake becomes. What makes the uni industry unique is not only its price tag, it is the way every tray of roe is handled, as though it were a living, breathing organism, fragile, vulnerable, and almost impossible to replace. As global demand continues to grow, the race comes down to a single question: who delivers on time and who loses everything by arriving just 15 minutes too late? Before sunrise, the ocean resembles a giant operating room with the lights still off, where teams of divers quietly prepare to descend into the darkness. There are no roaring industrial vessels or steel trawling nets scraping the seabed. Only divers wrapped in wetsuits, human hands, and one uncompromising rule: take as little as possible and leave the ocean unharmed. In water colder than 41 degree Fahrenheit, they descend into thick darkness, where almost no sunlight reaches among rocky reefs and coral formations, hiding the ocean's living spiny safes, the sea urchins. These living safes are not simply lying on the sand waiting to be collected. They wedge themselves deep into rock crevices and coral, forcing divers to read every shadow and use precise movements to remove them without causing even the slightest damage. Each sea urchin is lifted carefully by hand and placed gently into a mesh bag. Here, a single mistake means total loss. One squeeze too hard, one small bruise, or the animal dying before reaching shore is enough to erase nearly all of its value. From the very first moment they leave the water, the clock begins ticking, not measuring how many have been collected, but measuring their freshness condition and how quickly they can reach shore. Every movement has a purpose. Every reach is slow, deliberate, and almost ceremonial. This is both a livelihood and an art form where mistakes are simply not allowed. Beneath the narrow beam of a dive light, experienced patience and skilled hands merge into a single technique, producing one of the ocean's purest delicacies, live sea urchins filled with rich golden uni, destined for the world's most demanding diners. The moment the boat docks, the sea urchins are transported directly to a coastal processing station where the second surgery begins, performed entirely by hand. Inside a cold, spotless room, scented with seawater, skilled workers open each spiny shell with the precision of surgeons. Each shell is split open with remarkable accuracy, revealing brilliant golden lobes of uni, inside just a few ounces containing nearly all of the animal's value. Using specialized tweezers, workers gently lift each delicate lobe of uni, avoiding any pressure that could damage it before rinsing it in purified seawater to preserve its natural sweetness. Finally, the uni is carefully arranged inside traditional wooden trays, each one resembling a living work of art with a smooth surface, uniform color, and flawless appearance. A knife that slips only slightly or tweezers that grip too tightly can instantly reduce the value of an entire tray. For uni, freshness is only half the standard. The other half is visual perfection. In the race to deliver uni, the clock is the ultimate judge. At major seafood auctions, only shipments arriving within the scheduled window are allowed into the day's most valuable sales. Arrive on time and each tray may sell for $120 to $150. Arrive just 30 minutes late and the price can immediately fall by half, or the entire shipment may be rejected altogether. But time is not the only enemy. Uni is extremely sensitive to temperature. If storage rises above 39 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius, its delicate structure begins breaking down within hours. The roe releases, moisture changes color, loses its creamy texture, and the entire shipment may be rejected. It becomes a race on two fronts beating the clock while maintaining an unbroken cold chain. An unexpected storm, refrigeration failure, or customs delay lasting only a few extra minutes can collapse a $1 million deal just before the finish line. Even worse, insurance cannot save a delayed shipment. Once Uni deteriorates, the company must absorb the entire financial loss. In this business, even the smallest margin of error becomes a sentence. From drivers and warehouse workers to logistics staff, no one can afford to be even a single minute behind. After traveling thousands of miles, the freshest trays of uni finally reach their destination, the kitchens of elite sushi chefs, where every second continues to matter. Uni requires no complicated cooking techniques. This delicate ingredient cannot withstand intense heat, heavy seasoning, or unsteady hands. All it takes is a razor-sharp knife, steady hands, and exceptional precision. A small piece of vinegared rice, a thin strip of nori, then the uni placed at exactly the moment it reaches perfect softness, nothing more, nothing less. It is placed into the diner's hand, and the ritual is complete in under 10 seconds. The flavor of uni is almost impossible to describe. Rich, sweet, and delicately briny, it tastes like the sea itself. It melts like cream, yet carries a deep mineral finish and cool oceanic character, unlike any other ingredient on Earth. In Tokyo, New York, and Dubai, uni is no longer limited to sushi and sashimi. 3 Michelin star restaurants transform it into luxurious risotto, chilled sea urchin, pasta, rich cream sauces, and elegant toppings for French-style poached eggs. For true food lovers, uni is not simply a dish, it is a moment. A moment when nature, craftsmanship, and timing achieve perfect balance. And as the very first bite melts across the tongue, few people realize that hundreds of individuals have worked tirelessly through an entire 24-hour period to make that experience possible. From the icy seafloor to the world's finest dining tables, every tray of uni is the result of an unforgiving race where every minute and every degree Fahrenheit can determine hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is far more than food. It is an industry built on absolute precision. If this journey amazed you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join us as we continue exploring extraordinary stories unfolding across our incredible world. In Alaska, the ocean opens a casino that exists for only 1 week. The fishermen don't arrive carrying poker chips. They bring steel crab pots, heavy cables, and hands already numb from the cold. If they win, 7 days can change their lives forever. If they lose, the sea takes everything back before the vessel ever returns to port. An enormous reward always comes with a brutal price: frostbite. 1,000-pound crab pots, decks as slippery as glass, and walls of waves slamming relentlessly against steel hulls. Hesitate for a second, you lose the catch. Slip once, you lose your life. Hard to believe they still walk into that gamble season after season. The pain lasts only days, but $2 million can change an entire future. Snow crabs may not have the enormous size of king crabs or the fame of Alaska lobster, but when they appear in the millions, they transform the seafloor into a vast underwater fortune. In the nearly freezing waters of the North Pacific snow, crabs grow their thin shells, long legs, and firm, sweet meat qualities that make restaurants across the United States, Japan, and Europe compete fiercely for them every season. At the dock, a single snow crab can be worth $20 to $30. A full container can easily exceed $10,000. As thousands of crabs pour onto the deck day after day, the vessel's cargo hold quickly becomes a floating vault worth $2 million, all within one short fishing season. But the real treasure isn't found in a single crab, it lies in harvesting them at exactly the right moment. The fishing season lasts only a few weeks each year, and only the fastest, toughest crews can claim the stream of white gold moving across the sea floor. Small and ice cold, the snow crab drives one of the quietest, most expensive, and most unforgiving hunts off the coast of Alaska. Why can such a small creature beneath the ice lure people into a gamble paid for with sweat, blood, and lives? And what determines which vessel returns carrying white gold and which one leaves everything behind in the waters of Alaska? As darkness settles over Alaska, fishing boats cut through the waves and leave the harbor not simply beginning a voyage, but stepping into a direct confrontation with wind ice and the ticking clock. On deck, steel pots are stacked like chess pieces. Heavy cables are stretched tight and bait gives off its strong odor. Everything waits for the opening move where the winners touch white gold, while the losers return home with bloodied hands. The deck was filled with steel cages, taut ropes, and barrels of bait that stank of salt water. Everything was ready for a race where the winner would take gold and the loser would return with bloody hands. The crab season lasts only a few weeks each year. Arrive late, return early, fear the cold, or avoid the pain, and someone else claims the reward. Sleep is broken into minutes. Meals consist of frozen, hardened bread. No one complains. No one turns back. Everyone understands the ocean never stops, and neither does the money. Once they reach the fishing grounds, words become unnecessary. One by one, steel pots weighing more than 660 pounds plunge into the darkness like safes being deposited onto the ocean floor. The moment the rope slips through their hands, the gamble officially begins. Drop a pot in the wrong place and it comes back empty. Use the wrong bait and the crabs pass by. If the line becomes tangled and the pot gets trapped, a fisherman can disappear along with it. Mike says only one sentence. Every pot is a lottery ticket. If you don't throw it overboard, you'll never win anything. They work without stopping through pounding winds, crashing waves, and fingers turning purple from the cold just to finish setting every trap before sunrise. Because the crabs won't wait, and neither will the sea reward those who are too slow. Hours later, the first pot rises from the depths. The entire deck falls silent. The winch screams. The steel deck shakes violently. Then the ice-covered steel cage appears as heavy as an anchor. Inside, dozens of snow crabs begin moving, and every face instantly lights up. A single pot can be worth several $1,000s. One productive day can generate hundreds of thousands. But sometimes all that comes back is an empty, freezing cage. No one stops working because success is never determined by one haul, but by 7 days of endurance. They don't need to count every crab their hands already know. A heavy pot means money. A light pot means failure. Surrounded by ice, salt water, and skin split open from the cold, they keep hauling because every steel cage rising from the sea brings them one step closer to the $2 million waiting below. No one knows whether they'll win, but everyone knows one thing: no one is allowed to stop. As dawn opens the way back to the harbor, the vessel returns after days of being tested by the ocean. On deck, swollen, reddened hands gently rest against the steel rail as if confirming that they survived and brought their hard-earned prize safely home. For the crew, every crab is no longer just money. It is the mark of sleepless nights, generations of experience, and relentless determination in the face of the ocean's fury. This is no longer simply a job, it is a living agreement between people's survival and the sea. After days of gambling with the ocean, tons of snow crab rest inside refrigerated holds, maintained at nearly 32 degrees Celsius. But the race for value is far from over, because only after entering the processing plant does that hard-earned catch truly begin turning into real money. The moment the vessel docks, hundreds of containers of snow crab are loaded onto refrigerated trucks and transported directly to a modern processing facility located just outside the harbor. Inside the factory, the processing line operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The crabs are sorted by size: premium grade, standard grade, and smaller grade before being steamed immediately or packed live according to individual customer orders. Every step takes place inside a sterile, low-temperature environment where time is measured in minutes because every passing hour reduces the crab's value. The final products include packaged crab legs, shelled crab meat, and premium whole frozen crabs ready for export to Japan, South Korea, the United States, and Europe, where retail prices can be 3 to 5 times higher than those at the dock. One processing expert explains, "We don't just sell crab, we sell freshness, cleanliness, and perfection." Every shipment leaving the plant carries more than seafood. It represents the industry's processing expertise, preservation technology, and the reputation of an entire modern marine industry. The production line is programmed with precision down to the very second. Each crab passes through manual sorting, supported by automated scanning systems, ensuring that every specimen is assigned to the correct category, premium grade, standard grade, or raw material for further processing. Depending on customer orders and destination markets, the crabs may be cooked immediately to lock in their natural sweetness, or kept alive in chilled salt water before being packaged using modified atmosphere packaging MAP technology to extend shelf life. The result is a portfolio of products that meets the world's strictest international standards. Vacuum-sealed crab legs, carefully extracted crab meat free of shell fragments and cartilage, and whole crabs preserved through ultra-rapid freezing, all ready for premium markets such as Japan, South Korea, the United States, and Europe. There, the value of a single crab can increase 3 to 5 times even before factoring in the power of branding. One operations specialist explains, "We're not just selling crab, we're selling confidence in its origin, the purity of every bite, and an uncompromising commitment to quality. That's why customers are willing to pay more." This is how a harvest from the sea is transformed into a luxury product bound for markets across the world. From Alaska's frozen waters to dining tables around the world, snow crab arrives not merely as food, but as the result of an unforgiving chain of labor that demands precision and leaves no room for mistakes. Thanks to its tender, delicate meat, snow crab has become the perfect ingredient for garlic butter grilled crab lemongrass steamed crab and crispy fried crab dishes commonly served in luxury restaurants and extravagant banquets where every portion is considered a premium dining experience. Snow crab is no longer simply seafood. It has become a symbol of refinement, prestige, and the taste of the ocean in every bite. No one is born to belong to the frozen sea, yet some still step onto the deck trading peace of mind for a chance to rewrite their destiny. In just 7 days, they can earn anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000, far more than an entire year's income on land. In return, they must face skin-cutting cold, violent waves and danger waiting at every moment. One small mistake is enough to lose a trap, lose the money, or more tragically, lose a life. Mike, who has spent 8 years working these waters, says, "We're not here because we love it. We're here because we need to survive." They don't dream of becoming millionaires. They simply want a warm winter and a family that never has to go without. If this journey amazed you, subscribe to the channel and continue exploring the deadliest hunts and the enormous rewards still hidden beyond the horizon. The race continues as hundreds of crates of snow crab leave the crane and are immediately loaded onto specialized refrigerated trucks, where temperatures are monitored every second in real time. Amid the icy waters of Hokkaido, heavy mesh cages slowly rise from the depths, carrying living treasures from the seafloor. On the outside, they are nothing more than rough-weathered shells worn smooth by years of relentless waves. But once opened, they reveal creamy white flesh, plump tender, and delicately sweet, a hidden treasure coveted by the world's most prestigious kitchens. Leaving behind the frozen seas of the snow crab fishery, our journey continues to Japan, where a small shellfish can sell for as much as $200 per pound. What makes Japanese scallops one of the world's most expensive seafood delicacies? On the global fine dining market, Japanese scallops are no longer viewed as ordinary seafood. They are considered a luxury asset carrying the reputation of an entire nation. At Michelin-starred restaurants in Tokyo, New York, and Paris, just a few slices of silky ivory white scallop can command prices many times higher than ordinary seafood. Discerning diners are not simply paying for food. They are paying for delicate sweetness, rich buttery texture, and a lingering finish. It is that rare experience that has elevated Japanese scallops to superstar status on luxury dining tables. Behind every elegant plate stands a multi-billion-dollar commercial industry. Japan is not only one of the world's largest consumers of scallops, but also one of the leading exporters globally. Every day, refrigerated containers leave the ports of Hokkaido, crossing the oceans toward major markets in the United States, China, and Europe. At these destinations, Japanese scallops are traded almost like valuable assets, where every pound of pristine white meat can surge dramatically in value within minutes. Their distinctive flavor, uncompromising production standards, and the strength of Japan's national brand have kept Japanese scallops at the pinnacle of the global premium seafood market for years. Off the coast of Hokkaido, the cold sea locks scallops inside a giant underwater time vault guarded year-round by small fishing boats. On deck, the fishermen are doing more than harvesting. They are unlocking living investments placed beneath the sea years earlier, only now beginning to generate returned scallops. Every market-ready scallop is the result of a patient investment lasting 3 to 5 years. Throughout that time, thousands of scallops remain suspended in the cold current, absorbing plankton and minerals every single day. They grow slowly, almost like accumulating interest-building layer upon layer of sweet, firm, and exceptionally pure meat until harvest season finally arrives. When harvest season begins, the waters of Hokkaido reach their maturity date. Heavy cultivation cages weighing hundreds of pounds are lifted from the cold depths, carrying years of accumulated value. But this treasure does not come aboard easily. Seaweed oysters and countless marine organisms cling tightly to every shell, forcing fishermen to pry them free with strength and precision. The work repeats hour after hour, and a single slip can leave a hand badly cut. In areas too difficult to reach by conventional methods, people must descend to where the treasure is stored. Divers plunge into powerful currents, enduring freezing temperatures through their protective suits before carefully cutting each scallop free from its anchor and sending it to the surface. Every breath taken on the seafloor pushes the limits of safety, yet that harvest determines the income and livelihood of entire families. When the final cage is opened, the rough shells resemble nothing more than worthless stones. Yet inside lies creamy white flesh, plump, juicy, and naturally sweet, the profit that the ocean has quietly nurtured over many years. At that moment, Hokkaido scallops are no longer simply seafood. They become a reward earned through time, human effort, and countless risks taken beneath freezing waters, a value paid for with patience and courage. Every voyage to sea is a mission to retrieve living treasure from the ocean floor. For hours, the captain maintains the course, engineers keep the engines running, and fishermen wait for the moment when the equipment comes under full load. As the steel winch roars to life and the cultivation frame rises from the darkness, the entire vessel shudders as though wrestling with something enormous. Cables are locked into place, holding tanks are opened, and clean seawater is pumped in immediately. Everyone moves without pause because even a brief delay is enough to disrupt the entire operation. A premium scallop is not caught in the traditional sense. It must be reclaimed from layers of sand rock, cold mud, and the relentless pull of the ocean itself. In deeper waters, enormous suction dredges lower massive pipes onto the seabed, as if drilling into a buried vault. Their engines roar above the crashing waves, hauling up a heavy mixture of scallops, rocks, mud, and seaweed. On deck, fishermen must immediately separate the valuable catch from everything else before the entire haul collapses into a slippery, chaotic mass that becomes nearly impossible to control. But some parts of the seafloor refuse to yield to machinery. In those places, divers must enter the danger themselves, wearing heavy suits, carrying air tanks, and descending into water cold enough to sting the skin. They work against powerful currents, using knives and iron hooks to pry scallops from the rocks one by one. Their hands gradually lose feeling, visibility narrows, and every breath is a reminder that time on the ocean floor is limited. Even so, they continue because one successful haul can determine an entire family's livelihood. Elsewhere, cages remain beneath the sea for months, like vaults quietly accumulating value. When they are finally lifted, they emerge as massive structures covered with seaweed-hardened shells and marine life clinging tightly to every surface, forcing both people and machinery to strip away layer after layer before reaching the scallops hidden inside. That is why the value of a Japanese scallop lies far beyond its sweetness or tender texture. It is built from years spent beneath the sea, the immense weight of cultivation systems, the cold that penetrates heavy gloves, and the countless moments when people must confront the ocean itself to bring this treasure home. The moment the scallop crates reach the harbor, the race against time begins. To preserve their natural sweetness and silky texture, the entire harvest must reach the processing plant before the day ends. In Hokkaido, processing facilities operate like enormous inspection laboratories where temperature, sanitation, and every second of handling are monitored almost continuously. Each scallop is first cleaned of its rough shell before passing through skilled hands and specialized machines that reveal the precious ivory white meat inside. Workers have only a few seconds to open each shell, but in that brief moment, they must judge the meat's color, firmness, and aroma. At the slightest sign of imperfection, the scallop is immediately rejected. Only specimens approaching perfection continue to the final packaging stage. Then comes the defining moment. Ultra-fast freezing instantly drops the temperature, locking in texture and flavor at their absolute peak, ensuring that by the time the scallops reach New York or Paris, they remain almost as fresh as the moment they left the waters of Hokkaido. Every finished package carries a traceable identification code along with the label "Product of Japan," not merely an indication of origin, but a seal of trust that inspires chefs and diners around the world to pay premium prices. Yet the value of these scallops does not end when refrigerated containers leave the port. Once they enter the international market, Japanese scallops are no longer valued solely for their flavor or quality. Their scarcity, combined with the nearly absolute trust placed in Japan's national brand, is what truly elevates them into the realm of luxury. And it is that trust that creates prices high enough to make almost any first-time buyer stop in amazement. The moment each shipment leaves Hokkaido, it enters a global competition for ownership. Across the United States, China and Europe, demand consistently exceeds the available supply. That shortage transforms every shipment into an asset worth far more than ordinary scallops. Simply carrying the label Japan Quality can multiply its value because buyers are paying not merely for seafood, but for exceptional purity, deep natural sweetness, transparent origins, and a cultivation system that tolerates virtually no compromise. Whether displayed in Michelin-starred restaurants or luxury supermarkets, Hokkaido scallops are more than just another seafood product. They are a symbol of prestige. Adding these scallops to the menu is no longer simply about serving an outstanding dish. It is a statement that the restaurant is prepared to offer its guests one of the world's most rigorously selected treasures from the sea. Supply remains tightly constrained because each scallop requires 3 to 5 years to reach maturity, while the cold waters of Hokkaido offer little opportunity to expand production at will. That is why Japanese scallops are regarded as the white gold of the seafood industry, where value is determined not only by weight, but also by origin, reputation, heritage, and the trust they have earned worldwide. Ultimately, this prized treasure arrives in an elegant dining room served on a minimalist plate where a perfectly prepared scallop is enough to tell a story of luxury discipline and the mastery of Japanese cuisine. Under the lights of fine dining restaurants, Japanese scallops assume their final role, becoming the centerpiece of the plate. In Tokyo, New York, or Paris, their ivory white flesh is sliced into delicate sashimi, allowing its natural sweetness to tell the story of the cold northern waters where it was born. Or they meet a scorching hot pan for just a few seconds, creating a golden crust while preserving a tender, juicy, sweet and buttery center. Every bite carries more than exceptional flavor. It evokes the waters of Hokkaido, from their delicate salinity to the precise craftsmanship of world-class chefs. To top chefs, Japanese scallops are more like a precious material than an ordinary ingredient. Just a few pieces on a plate can be worth hundreds of dollars because diners are paying for far more than taste. They are buying rarity, provenance, years of careful cultivation, and confidence in a culinary tradition that has always valued excellence over quantity. For that reason, Japanese scallops have become a symbol of luxury, appearing everywhere, from the tables of Hong Kong's wealthy elite to some of Europe's most carefully curated fine dining experiences. As the scallop melts on the tongue, few diners realize the layers of value behind it. The cold northern seas years of waiting the hands of fishermen, precision processing facilities, and a journey across oceans before finally reaching such an elegant setting. This is more than the story of seafood. It is the story of how people transform time, discipline, and nature into a treasure coveted around the world. From the seafloor of Hokkaido to dining tables in New York and Paris, Japanese scallops prove that luxury does not begin in a restaurant. It is built through years of patience, relentless hard work, and uncompromising quality control. Every scallop represents the meeting point of nature, human skill, and culinary culture. It is that combination, not flavor alone, that gives them a value often compared to gold. Adding these scallops to the menu is no longer simply about serving an outstanding dish. It is a statement that the restaurant is prepared to offer its guests one of the world's most rigorously selected treasures from the sea. Supply remains tightly constrained because each scallop requires 3 to 5 years to reach maturity, while the cold waters of Hokkaido offer little opportunity to expand production at will. That is why Japanese scallops are regarded as the white gold of the seafood industry, where value is determined not only by weight, but also by origin, reputation, heritage, and the trust they have earned worldwide. Ultimately, this prized treasure arrives in an elegant dining room served on a minimalist plate where a perfectly prepared scallop is enough to tell a story of luxury, discipline, and the mastery of Japanese cuisine. Subscribe to Go Discover and continue exploring the unseen journeys behind the world's most remarkable foods, where every delicacy from the sea hides an extraordinary story waiting to be uncovered. If scallops are valued for their quality, tuna is valued by time. From the moment it leaves the ocean, a $2,000 tuna has only 18 hours to reach the restaurant. Any delay means its value can nearly disappear. A $2,000 tuna is not created at an auction. It is forged in a cold, unforgiving arena where the ocean relentlessly tests its speed, endurance, and ability to survive day after day. Beneath the dark blue water, sunlight fractures into thin rays before fading away. Here, tuna do not swim like ordinary fish. They charge through the sea like elite athletes crossing thousands of nautical miles along powerful ocean currents. Tropical storms rage above them, while hundreds of feet below, crushing pressure eliminates every creature that is not strong enough. In waters hovering just a few degrees above 32 degrees, tuna must keep moving constantly to maintain body heat and deliver oxygen to their powerful muscles. For them, standing still is not rest. It is the moment their strength begins to fade and survival starts slipping away. That is why every muscle fiber is forged through millions of powerful strokes, like a biological material refined without end. And that history of relentless movement creates the remarkable texture found on the cutting board. The ocean is both a training ground and the ultimate examiner. It builds extraordinary bodies, yet can erase entire vessels with a single mistake. Every tuna carries a living record of the waters. It has crossed the currents, the temperatures, the spawning seasons, and the food chain, stretching from tiny plankton to the ocean's greatest predators. The moment that body is pulled from the sea, an athlete of the ocean becomes a fragile commodity. The endless rhythm of swimming stops circulation, is cut off, and the strength accumulated across the ocean slowly begins to fade. The 18-hour clock officially begins. Beneath the darkness of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, a living engine weighing hundreds of pounds races through the water at speeds exceeding 43 mph. That is a mature Pacific bluefin tuna or Atlantic bluefin tuna roaming the open sea. It does not wander randomly. Instead, it follows the boundaries where warm currents collide with cold ones, where bait fish gather in dense concentrations. These locations often lie hundreds of nautical miles offshore, where satellite signals weaken and weather conditions can transform completely within hours. At sea, fishing crews rarely work under favorable conditions. Crosswinds force the vessel to lean against long, rolling swells. Falling barometric pressure warns that rough weather is approaching. Sea salt coats the equipment with a slippery film, turning handles and fishing lines into hazards. That is why the exact moment to deploy the lines is calculated like a physics equation. The fish's position, wind direction, and wave cycle must align perfectly, or tangled lines and snapped connections become inevitable when the tuna accelerates. Sonar penetrates hundreds of feet into the depths, reconstructing schools of fish hidden in darkness. Once the target appears, a long line stretching for miles is deployed with hooks carefully spaced to reduce tangles. If purse seines are used instead, the entire vessel must operate like a single organism. One small opening caused by shifting waves is enough to release the entire school. From the instant a tuna is hooked, the goal is no longer to pull as hard as possible, but to keep the vessel and the line moving in perfect rhythm. Waves crashing against the hull dramatically increase the load, forcing the crew to constantly adjust the tension as the sea rises and falls. The struggle lasts 60 to 90 minutes, amid the sound of steel striking steel and the whistle of the wind. Every dive deeper into the water twists the line tighter, while the flesh inside the fish endures greater stress, increasing the risk of bruised muscle and severe tissue damage. As the tuna reaches the side of the vessel, its value is determined in just a few precise movements. A carefully placed spike instantly stops neural activity. The main artery is cut to drain the blood, quickly preventing darkened flesh and unwanted odors. The catch time handling method, water temperature, air temperature, and sea conditions are all recorded like the documentation of a valuable asset. The internal organs are removed immediately to prevent bacteria from the abdominal cavity from contaminating the meat. Yet the deck continues to roll waves, keep throwing seawater across every surface and in freezing conditions that stiffen fingers, while salt spray blurs vision. Every movement must remain absolutely precise. Finally, the fish is placed into an ice slurry made of seawater and crushed ice, reducing the core temperature to 32 to 36 degrees as quickly as possible. In rough seas, maintaining that temperature becomes its own challenge. The tank must remain securely sealed because every violent impact can shift the mixture and create localized warm spots. For premium tuna, the weather determines far more than the size of the catch. It quietly determines the value of every muscle fiber. A voyage through rough seas and fluctuating temperatures can significantly reduce the selling price, even if the fish still appears nearly flawless to the naked eye. The vessel reaches port before sunrise, but what is unloaded is far more than fish. It is a $2,000 investment awaiting judgment. There are no celebrations. The tuna is immediately secured inside a refrigerated truck and transported to the processing facility, where every muscle fiber determines whether it enters the luxury market or falls into a lower price category. Inside a 50-degree inspection room, the dry, cold air resembles that of a high-value appraisal facility. Almost nobody speaks. Experts study the deep red color of the meat, examine its consistency, and press lightly against the surface to measure its remaining firmness. Specialized lighting reveals every layer of fat running between the muscle groups, especially within the belly. A temperature probe is inserted into the core to verify that safe chilling conditions have been maintained. Every reading is stored as evidence because intuition alone cannot protect value. Then the valuation begins with a long knife. The tuna is divided into loin sections, deep red akami balanced chutoro, with its ideal mix of lean meat and fat, and richly marbled otoro streaked with delicate white fat. Each section immediately receives its own value as it rests upon the stainless steel table like newly classified assets. Any meat that fails to meet sashimi grade standards is never wasted. It simply enters another market. It is steamed under carefully controlled conditions, rapidly cooled, and then processed by both machines and skilled workers who remove the skin, bones, and unsuitable portions. The meat is divided into uniform portions, placed into sterilized cans, and filled with either oil or brine according to fixed formulations. Once sealed, every can passes through a high-pressure sterilization chamber where the temperature, processing time, and batch specifications are automatically recorded. Every loin continues carrying its own identity, the fishing coordinates, processing time, vessel name, and chilling method. That information follows the product through every stage until it finally arrives at a restaurant table. In the premium market, buyers do not accept promises. They demand proof. Exceptional flavor creates desire, but traceable data creates the confidence needed to sustain every transaction. After oxygen is completely removed, the loins are vacuum sealed, like sensitive financial assets. They are packed inside heavily insulated containers surrounded by gel ice. The refrigerated truck doors close. The display remains fixed at 32 to 34 degrees. Every single degree is constantly monitored. The truck speeds toward the city just as traffic reaches its peak. A minor accident ahead brings traffic almost to a standstill. 30 minutes disappear. The refrigerated compartment remains stable, but the value inside does not. For premium seafood, delays make no sound. They quietly shave away profits minute by minute. The kitchen door swings open. Under bright white lights, the loin rests upon the cutting board as though entering its final inspection. The chef does not care about its price. He reads only the structure within. One cleaned slice reveals flawless flesh. He studies the clarity of the deep red color, the connection between the muscle fibers, and the firmness beneath a gentle touch. No unusual odor, no signs of oxidation. If it passes inspection, the meat is sliced into sashimi with millimeter-level precision and presented simply on a white porcelain plate. At that moment, its price reflects both its quality and its reputation. If it fails, it becomes a cooked dish, still valuable, but belonging to an entirely different market. Just one nod or one shake of the head. At the final destination, every wave, every movement, and every piece of data collected along the journey comes together beneath the chef's knife. Within seconds, the tuna's value is either fully preserved or permanently reduced. The customer lifts a slice of sashimi without ever seeing the storm, the 50-degree inspection room, or the refrigerated truck that once sat motionless in traffic. Yet the entire journey remains present in every bite, compressed into just two sensations: texture and flavor. In luxury dining, the past of an ingredient requires no explanation. It speaks entirely through quality. One weak link is enough for the entire 18-hour race to end with a silent shake of the head that needs no words. Only when the final slice of tuna touches the plate beneath warm lights does the 18-hour journey finally receive its verdict. Behind it lies a violent ocean, an overnight voyage, freezing hands, and a factory operating with relentless precision. Nobody at the table sees any of it. But one single mistake would have destroyed its value instantly. Because 18 hours is not merely a deadline, it is the line separating a culinary masterpiece from an ingredient that is quietly rejected. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue exploring the invisible races behind the world's most expensive foods. The next journey may be even more dangerous, colder, and far more unforgiving, and it is one you definitely won't want to miss.